What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Daily Misfire. Today's gonna be a fun how-to slash update video. I'm working on the Nova right now. You'll see a little bit of that, but I'm also working on the dually, and the dually's been having a few issues. So if you watched a couple videos ago, we got stranded on the side of the road trying to go to the races. There was a fuel filter, and there was a bunch of just random issues, and I think I've found like 3 of them. And wouldn't you know it, the EFI probably wasn't any issue whatsoever. So the first one, fuel filters, that was obvious, you saw that. So you saw fuel filters. The second one, it was overheating. There was some issues with that, and I don't know if, and I showed one of my last videos, which was probably, this is the whole combination of issues. So fuel filter, then the HEI, you saw the HEI, I can show pictures of it right here. Very bad. The cap and rotor were horrible. So if it's not getting a good spark signal, it's not going to want to get fuel, it won't run. So ergo, if it starts rattling or shaking, or you're driving, resonation from on the freeway, it'll loosen wires, stuff will start not wanting to be happy, and it'll just die. And then the third one, which if that stuff wasn't working, I had an issue a couple days ago after I fixed the HEI. The truck didn't want to start after I drove it for about 45 minutes. Totally fine, ran through traffic, everything was great. Went and stopped, parked the truck. It was 85 degrees out, so it was pretty warm. Went to jump back in it. The coolant temperature on the truck was like 230, so under the hood's very warm. And it did not want to start, was not getting any fuel. And I checked the relays, and I checked these relays right here, which they were mounted right there, were very hot, almost too hot to touch, like a hot tamale. They were very warm. When the server at the Mexican restaurant says your plate's hot and you grab it anyway, that's about how hot it was. So what I'm doing right now, there's a couple fixes I'm working on. So one, we have a nice blue streak cap, as you saw in my last video. That fixed the HEI. HEI is good again. We're going to be checking my cap rotor every couple months now, because that's just something that I'm going to be concerned about. 2, which I need to order it, and you'll see it at some point in a future video. I'm going to be getting a heat shield around the bottom of this to try to help with vapor lock on the actual injectors themselves. And 3, I just did it, and that's why the grill is off. I relocated the actual EFI relay box right here. So when I talked to FI Tech about all this, because what I've had before, so this system was a Gen 1 system that the ECU went out in it, and I ended up swapping in a new ECU, which has the external relay box right here. And this basically means there's nothing in the in the brain right here that will get hurt. Like, nothing will fry in the actual head unit itself, in the throttle body. There's nothing really that can go wrong other than like injectors. Is basically, unless something like horrendously happens, like it catches on fire and melts things. There's really nothing in there mechanically or electronically that'll change. There's the TPS, there's the IAC, all the other stuff that are actual external modules that you swap out. But as far as ECU, there's nothing that'll get hurt in there, especially with heat and stuff. So what ends up happening, I'm thinking, is 2 things are going on. 1, when you park and sit, the thing, obviously all the ambient heat just bakes everything in the engine bay. Not good. And 2, when it bakes everything, so then relays are hung up, they're not wanting to work, things are not happy with that. And then the second part of that is it's vapor locking a little bit. I have a similar issue with the carburetor when it would get hot, and I know big blocks have issues like that. And I think the square body hood and just everything in here is very likely to store heat in it and not be good. So those are my couple of fixes that I'm working on right now. 1, to relocate that, and then 2, to get that heat shield thing. I also removed, I had one of those little covers right there. You can see it on the wall right there, or that guy right there on the right in front of the football, that guy. It was a blocker right here to get air in. Well, I took it out just to see if that'll help, just try to get more air in, and when it's sitting, that helps get air out. It'll help escape a little bit. I wish I could space the top of the hood up a little bit, like the back of it, to try to make it a little bit not as sealed, but I don't think there's a way for me to do that. Because I did that in the Nova before. The Nova would get hot like that too, and it didn't make it to where it wouldn't run, but it would get hot. And so what I did was I spaced the back of the hood up about a little bit, so there was about that much of an air gap on the back, and make the whole back of the hood kind of a cowl. Low-to-go kind of stuff, but I can't really do that with this one. And I don't know why big blocks just seem to want to store heat so bad, but they do. So those are my couple of attempt to fix things, because the stupid thing is it doesn't want to get fuel, won't run, won't do anything until it gets back to like 190. Well, as soon as it gets like 190, it just fires right off and you can just drive, and it's good. But if it was like 230, 235, it did not want to start. So that ambient heat, I think, is a real issue. Putting that guy, the relay box out there, I think will really help fix that issue. So I'm going to finish dressing up my wires, getting all this stuff set up the way I need to where it's not just like that. I'm going to fix all that, try to get that all set up and ready to rock. And we'll see how it does with that, and then I'm going to get that plate, which I can show it kind of around here with what it does. It's basically just an aluminum plate, and then it has a couple of phenolic spacers, and it spaces the throttle body up a little bit, and it also puts a little heat protector plate around it, so it hopefully will help prevent fuel vapor locking, or to where basically fuel just burns up before it's actually getting into the engine. Because if it's hot like that, it's hard to start things. So try to make it as easy as possible for everything if I can. So that's kind of what I'm working on right this minute as far as the dually goes. So hopefully those things will fix it. And as I said before, those aren't really fuel injection issues. Those are just car issues. It's always something, right? But if you're an EFI guy and you're trying to figure out something, those are a couple of things to check, or things you can do on your truck to try to make it a little bit better, try to make it to where it's a little bit better drivable, and you're not getting angry on, in a funeral home parking lot, because that's the only place you could park your truck and trailer, and the truck just did not want to start. So it's always something. I was literally throwing carb cleaner down it, trying to be like Cletus with the Dega Bega, and it just, no, it would start, it would cough, and it would like just die. It wasn't actually taking fuel. And I think it was because it was hot. Which, it was a hot day, so it's just one of those deals. But yeah, so, dually. That's what's going on with the dually. Where is it? There it is. Not the rust dissolver. Right here, this box contains $190 worth of stuff. And this is the paint for the Nova. So this is a pint worth of, I think this, what did they end up actually going with? Nassau Blue. So, went over to Sherwin-Williams, the automotive finishes spot over in Piney Flats in Tennessee. Those guys are super cool. The manager of that store was really cool. He was the old IHRA clutch guy for a Pro Stock team that won literally everything in 2003. Really cool. Had some really cool stories. But yeah, so we worked with him. I literally brought the deck lid of the Nova in with me, so the trunk went into the store with me. We kind of went off colors on different places, trying to figure out what the best color is for it. We were originally just going to try to run off the color code, but I wanted a single stage paint because I'm not trying to deal with base coat, clear coat, all that stuff. So the Nassau Blue is as close as he could get, and then he even changed some of the blue that was in it to kind of make it a little bit better. But you'll see in the next couple of videos of us going through and actually working on this. But we're getting very close metal-wise to make, basically being able to skim a short strand fiberglass over everything and it being sealed up, and then primer it and then paint it. And, pretty much the car's just about ready to be put back together. Aside from a few things that we're going to be doing. So, in my squirrel brain, because we already have the car apart, so we might as well start doing stuff. The headliner's out of the car, so this is a perfect time to put a hoop and down bars in the car. Now, don't yell at me yet, don't, shh, 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 shh. Don't yell, start and saying you're not going to cut that car up. No, I'm not. We're putting a bolt-in hoop and down bars in this car, and they're not even full down bars. What we're going to be doing is we're going to put a hoop in it. That hoop is going to attach to the roof where the factory holes for a 3-point seatbelt are. So if you look up there, it's kind of dark, but you see those holes right there? Those are for a factory seatbelt for a 3-point harness in the car. And only a certain amount of cars, I don't know why they didn't just like put a brace up there. But I knew that they were up there, but I just didn't want to start poking holes in the headliner before we pulled the headliner out. And so now the headliner's out. We need a new headliner. It's probably not getting a new one this year. It's expensive, and I'm not dealing with that. But it will be getting a hoop and down bar. So like I said, the hoop's going to be very close to this right here. So we're going to come across the front. We're going to attach to those guys on the top. And then we're going to come with a bar down somewhere in this area. We'll come with a bar. And then we'll just put big, huge plates on the ground, on the floor of the car. And those are going to be what ties the whole car together. So it being a subframe car, there's no real frame in the center of the car. So what we'll be doing is we're just going to be bolting it to the floor with some big, huge washers, really big stuff. That way it's not welded in the car, so you don't have to cut anything out of the car, but it's a lot safer, and I can get shoulder belts in the car without having to have a weird hard top, weird 3-point harness, because they get kind of goofy when you start running them coming off the roof like that. So, and since we're doing all that, the hoop won't fit with the factory bench seat that I have in the car. So, and by me saying that, of course you can put a hoop and a bench seat in the car. I'm too tall with my helmet on the bench seat to actually be able to fit everything in there. If I was 5'9", it'd be fine. But me being 6'2", my helmet will be over the hoop, which that kind of defeats the purpose of the hoop. So I found a set of bucket seats down in Florida that my buddy Brian over at Blue Collar Hot Rods picked up for me, and now at the end of this month we'll be hauling down there to pick up a set of factory bucket seats for this Nova. I think they're out of a Chevelle or GTO, which they're the same seats. They just need different seat tracks. We'll be getting those. They're factory blue. They're the correct seats for this car. So we'll be getting those. And then we'll be able to head over to Tennessee Coachworks and go see my buddy Sean. And we're going to put a hoop and down bars in the car at his house, at his shop. We'll get everything situated there. We'll get it all bolted in, welded in, make it look nice and pretty. And then we'll come back here and we'll get the car ready for full assembly around June. We'll have the car back together, ready to rock and roll for the rest of the year. And then the car has bucket seats. It's a hoop and down bars car. It has a fixed back window. And I'll be fixing some of the engine stuff because I'm also getting an intake and some other cool stuff. And the car's going to be like a whole new car. It'll have a completely different feel than it ever did before. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then I'll take you outside real quick. Alright, so what we're going to be finishing the update on is this guy right here, my 67 Nova wagon. And this is the 283 car. The straight 6 car is back there. That's going to be, we're going to be borrowing the doors and some other stuff off of it to get this body as straight as we possibly can and kind of get that car. And then we'll work on that body long term for kind of like a nice driver car is kind of the thought. You can do an LS swap, you can put, do a bunch of fun stuff. This is the Lodo Go hot rod fun wagon car that I've wanted, my entire life to do. And then that one at some point maybe we'll either build it to sell or we'll do something with it. But this one is the one that needs a lot of love and help, obviously, with stuff like that. I have gotten the floors for it done. So we have 2 floor pans right there. They're not done, obviously, but we've ordered them. They're from AMD. I got those 2. And then we have the pillars for up here to replace these guys right here. So we got this one and we got the other one. Those 2 will be good. And I've been looking at probably what we're going to do. So this thing has a power glide in it. It has a drive shaft. It has a rear end. Everything's else is bolted up that's really solid. It has the Nova specific manifolds for it already. So as long as they're not cracked or junk, what I'm probably going to end up doing is we're going to get this engine out of here. We're going to get it out. We're going to start working on it to get it cleaned up to have like a fun 283 that we'll probably put like a solid flat tappet on. We'll do some kind of old school hot rod stuff with it. But the thing that I'm going to do is I have the 283 that's the factory one out of my Nova, and what we'll end up doing is we'll take that one and put in this car with a turbo 350 that we have in a 2500 stall converter, and that turbo 350 should bolt right in with the drive shaft and everything that this one has, because it's the short tail shaft one. So, and this should be, and they're really close, and it'll probably make the drive shaft a little tight, but it'll be totally fine. That's what we did with my Nova before, and it worked. So what we'll probably end up doing is we'll cut the transmission tunnel out of this car, probably raise it up a little bit so we can fit a Turbo 400 in the car easily, and we'll mock it up with a Turbo 400. Because long term, this car needs a big block or an LS with a 4L80 in it, and it's going to run 10s or faster with a cage and stuff, and I don't want to build the car for a Turbo 350 and have to redo a bunch of stuff later. So it's going to have a really well built floor, built for like a 480, a raised lifted floor in the center, and really fancy stuff with a shifter and things like that. And it's going to have a stock 283 in the front of it with a turbo 350 with a 2500 stall and like probably 308 gears, whatever's out back. I think it's 308s is probably what this thing has in it. But saying that, I see no reason why I can't do all that. Now I have a bench seat, like I mentioned with the Nova. I have a bench seat for it. We also have back seats that we can put in this car. I see no reason why we couldn't get this thing cleaned up together and run for little to no money. I have an extra front clip. We have extra panels that fit for the front end. So I have extra fenders, we have an extra grill, we have an extra bumper. This bumper doesn't actually look that bad, but we do have an extra all that stuff. I have fiberglass bumpers, I have fiberglass fenders if we want to do that. We have an extra hood. We have a lot of good parts. So I just need to start going through it and getting through all the stuff. So basically, what's going to happen is we're going to get the doors, we'll get the tailgate off, we're going to swap a bunch of stuff over, and then I think that's probably what's going to end up happening is we'll just swap over and try to use all the parts we have to make a low-go, budget-friendly car and to be driving. Because it doesn't need to be fast. Because even as a 15, I think my Nova with that 283 with the 355s in it, which I have 355s for an 8.2 if we wanted to throw those in it. If we really wanted to, we could do a 355 with like a mini spool or something like that in the back, or you can put some sort of locker in the back if we really cared. I don't really care. What will probably end up happening is that we could put those 355s in it with the Turbo 350, and if we did that, it'll be a one-legger 355 gear just car that we can drive, and it'd be kind of fun. It'd be peppy. It would definitely be peppy. Or you leave the 308s in it, and it's a good freeway cruiser, and Abby and I can just cruise, and I have the wagon, and she has the Camaro. I have the Nova that we can run. So we have two Novas then. We have the wagon, or the Camaro, and the dually. It's 8:30 in the morning, and I've been up since 4:30 because I couldn't sleep. But you know the deal. Anyway, I think that's the plan, and I can show you that 283 real quick. We have a lot of random little parts for the car, so I think I can probably piece it together. That 283 is sitting right there. You can see the power pack heads, that guy. That is, like I said, that is the factory 283 out of my Nova. It has less than 80,000. It might have 85,000 miles on it. The other thing we could do, which then I need a cam, springs, and lifters, is 307 in the corner right there. You can see it. That 307, like I said, it needs a cam, springs, and lifters, but it has camel humps on it. We also have a set of 305 GT heads or HO heads somewhere around here we can put on it. It might make it a little bit spicy. That engine has ran into the 13s with my dad's Nova 20 years ago, so that's the 307 out of that car. That car ran 1380s with that 307 in it, with that 2500 stall converter, with the turbo 350, and I think it had a 373 rear gear in the back of it. So I could, theoretically, if I wanted to, a 355 rear gear version, which the tire would be very similar because it has a slightly taller tire on it. So I could run a 355, triple 350. If I got a posi, you can put a posi in it, and have a fun little wagon with a 307 in it. It might run mid 14s. That's a haul butt little wagon, especially with a 307. So for a while, that might be the way to go. 283 is cheap. It's together. It's all ready to go. It needs nothing. So that's kind of the reason why I'm like throwing the 283 in it. But the 307 would be a fun thing because it's the 307, which I may do a story on that engine at some point. If you want to have a story on that one, let me know. But yeah, so with that, I think that's pretty much everything as far as update-wise. If you made it this far, thank you for watching this whole video. Be sure to like and subscribe, follow along, check us out on our Etsy website, and then check out the Let It Ride podcast. We'll hopefully have another video up this coming weekend, and we should be filming a couple more, and we got a whole lot more planned this year. So there's 6 Smokies coming up in October, and there's a whole lot of road tripping to do. Like I said, we're going to Florida. There's a couple car show events happening in June, July, August. There's a lot of bracket racing. There's a bunch of stuff. We need to get everything together, running, and be consistent and be safe. And not get stuck on the side of the road again. Because I'm over that. I've been stuck on the side of the road more the last 2 months than I have in most of my life. So, yeah. With that, peace.